At the far edge of the village of Nkwume, right before the winding path that led to the stream, stood a humble home made of red mud and topped with a zinc roof. During heavy rains, the roof rattled like 1,000 stones hitting a drum. In the compound were banana trees, rows of cassava, and a large old mango tree. That tree had stood there for years, planted by her parents the year they got married. The tree had become tall and wide, with strong branches reaching toward the skies like a prayer. For Chiamaka, it was the most special place in the whole world. She believed her late mother's spirit lived in the tree. Sometimes, when the wind moved through its leaves, she thought she heard her mother's laughter in the breeze. Each evening, after she cleaned the yard, fetched water, and cooked their dinner, Chiamaka would sit under the mango tree. She rested her back against the rough bark and sang. She didn't sing to impress anyone. She sang because her heart needed it. Singing was the only way she felt close to her mother. She carries her mother's fire, old Madam Olama once said. Just watch. That girl's voice will be heard beyond this village someday. Chiamaka's father, Majobuchi, wasn't a wicked man. But ever since his wife, Adan, died, he had changed. Grief had dried up his joy. He no longer joked. He no longer smiled. He barely spoke unless he had to. He made sure Chiamaka had food and clothes, but he didn't speak of her mother again. He showed love through actions, by fixing broken windows, planting yams, and making sure there was soup on the fire. But he never said, "I'm proud of you." He never asked her to sing. He never even listened. Still, on some quiet nights, when Chiamaka sang behind the house, her father would pause whatever he was doing, close his eyes for a moment, and let the music take him back to a time he could not speak about. One evening, she approached him gently while he was cleaning his cutlass. "Papa," she said softly, "do you remember Mama's favorite song, the one she sang when she came back from the hospital?" He didn't look up. "That was a long time ago." "I still remember the words," Chiamaka said. "I sing it every night." He only nodded. Nothing more. She waited a few seconds, hoping he'd say something. When he didn't, she stood up quietly and left. But later that night, as she sang under the mango tree, Majobuchi sat inside with his arms crossed. And a tear slipped down his cheek. He quickly wiped it away, ashamed to be seen weeping. The day that changed everything. The morning was hot. Chiamaka had gone to the market square with Madam Ngozi, who needed help selling her tomatoes and dried fish. The air smelled of fresh onions, spices, and roasted maize. The market was filled with voices and footsteps. Suddenly, the loud rhythm of the ekwe, the talking drum, cut through the noise. Do-do-do-dum-dum. The town crier, Emeka, climbed onto the wooden platform at the center. He wore a red wrapper and had feathers behind his ears. "Hear this, hear this," he shouted. A great announcement from the palace. Everyone went quiet. "In 3 weeks' time, there shall be a singing contest at the royal courtyard. Singers from all villages are welcome. The winner will receive 500,000 Nigerian nairas, a golden microphone, and a full scholarship to the National Music School in Lagos." The crowd gasped. Some screamed. Others clapped. Girls jumped with joy. Boys whistled. Chiamaka's heart began to pound. Her eyes widened. A golden microphone. A scholarship. Lagos. Her hands trembled as she held onto the tray of tomatoes. That night, she sat quietly under the mango tree, her thoughts heavy. She wanted to be part of the contest. She wanted to stand on a real stage and let the world hear her voice, her mother's gift. But then fear spoke. "You're just a poor village girl. Your father will never allow it. Others will have nice clothes, makeup, and instruments. What do you have?" She looked up at the tree. "Mama," she whispered, "what should I do?" At that moment, a ripe mango fell and landed gently at her feet. She picked it up and smiled. That was all the sign she needed. The next day, she went to her father as he sharpened his cutlass. "Papa," she began, her voice calm but firm, "I want to take part in the royal singing competition." He didn't stop what he was doing. After a while, he said, "Singing does not put yam on the table." "But Papa, do you know how many girls chase dreams that end in disappointment?" "This one won't," she said, trying not to cry. He dropped the cutlass and looked at her. "I love you. I want you to succeed. But you need to focus on your school exams, not singing. Your mother is gone. It's time to be realistic." She didn't argue. She simply walked away. But inside, something stronger than fear was rising. She knew dreams were not foolish. Sometimes, dreams were the only thing that saved people. That night, she couldn't sleep. Then, out of nowhere, she smelled something. Lemongrass. Her mother's favorite scent. She opened her eyes and saw a faint glow. A soft breeze blew through the closed window. And then she saw her. Adan. Her mother. She stood, glowing in white lace, the same fabric she was buried in. "Mama," Chiamaka whispered. "My sweet daughter," the spirit said gently. "Why are you afraid?" Chiamaka sat up. "What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?" Her mother smiled. "You are more than enough. Your voice is your gift. It is your strength. It is me. I'm scared. Then sing with the fear. That is true bravery." Chiamaka reached out, but her mother disappeared. Yet, the scent remained. The next morning, her heart was steady. Her steps were light. She fetched water like always. Cooked like always. But inside, she was different. She brought out an old notebook filled with lyrics and songs she had written over the years. Most of them were about her mother. About grief. About hope. She began training herself. Before sunrise, she would go to the backyard and do voice exercises. She stood straight, hands behind her back, singing scales. She sang to the sun. She sang to the sky. She cried sometimes, not from pain, but from emotion. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Chiamaka, your voice must come from the heart." One afternoon, she heard someone call her from beyond the fence. "Chiamaka, now you dey sing like that?" She turned. It was Damale, her old friend who had moved to the city years ago. "Dami," she said, running to hug him. "You're back." "Yes, oh. I came back for holidays." "But wait, your voice has changed. It's sweet like honey." They sat beneath the mango tree and talked. He told her he had heard rumors that she wanted to join the singing contest. She looked down. "I haven't registered. Papa doesn't support it." Dami stood. "Then let's register you. I'll record your voice with my phone and send it to the palace messenger." She hesitated. He laughed, acting like a TV host. Coming up next, Chiamaka, daughter of Adan, singing like an angel. She laughed. He took out his phone and began recording. Later that night, Majabuchi sat outside peeling cassava. He had noticed his daughter waking early, coming home late, humming often. He knew what she was doing. And deep inside, he remembered something. Adan, his late wife, had once begged him to allow her to sing at the Lagos Music Festival. He had told her no. But she went anyway. And when she returned with awards and applause, he had been proud. But he never said it. Now his daughter was doing the same. He sighed and whispered, "Adan, please protect her." 3 days later, a list of accepted contestants was posted at the village hall. People gathered around. There's Kamsi from Neni. Look, Blessing from Oka is there. Then someone shouted, Chiamaka Majobuchi, Nkwume. She froze. Dami grabbed her hand. You made it. She couldn't speak. Part of her wanted to run. Part of her felt light with joy. You've already won, Dami said. Stepping forward is the real victory. For the next 2 weeks, she trained harder than ever. She wore her mother's old scarf and sang every morning and evening. Dami helped her with rhythm using his talking drum. Some villagers mocked her. She doesn't even have fine clothes. She's wasting time. But some left her gifts, groundnuts, water, fruit, with kind notes. One evening, she found a note pinned to the mango tree. Let your heart sing. Your mother would be proud. Anonymous. She pressed the note to her chest and smiled. The palace was a place of dreams, tall pillars, silk cloths, dancers, music, joy. Chiamaka stood among other girls, some in makeup, wigs, fancy gowns. She wore a clean wrapper, her hair braided simply, no makeup. One girl scoffed, is she a cleaner? Chiamaka said nothing. She closed her eyes. Mama, give me peace. A soft breeze blew, and again, the scent of lemongrass. Then her name was called. She walked onto the stage. Alone. The crowd was noisy. But when she started singing, a soft, deep voice, steady and clear, everything stopped. Her song was the one her mother wrote during illness. It was about pain, survival, and love. Tears rolled down Queen Adebi's cheek. The king leaned forward. When she finished, the crowd stood. Even Majobuchi, who had stood far back, cried openly. He walked slowly onto the stage and knelt. I was wrong, my daughter. You carry your mother's gift. She bent, embraced him, and whispered, I love you, Papa. And the winner is Chiamaka Majobuchi. The crowd exploded. Cheers, drums, laughter filled the air. Back home, things changed. Children sang her song. Elders greeted her with pride. Then, one Monday, a black SUV rode into their compound. 2 palace messengers stepped out. They gave her father a sealed letter. It read, You have been accepted into the National Music School in Lagos, fully sponsored by the royal family. Majobuchi went into the house and returned with a brown bag. Your mother used this when she went to Lagos. It's yours now. She hugged the bag, tears in her eyes. Lagos was wild, bright, noisy, and full of strangers. Every street buzzed with life. Horns blared. Hawkers shouted. Buildings towered above her like giants she didn't know how to face. But Chiamaka walked through it all with her head low and her heart beating fast. She was far from home, far from Nkwume, where the trees sang with the wind and the evening smelled of firewood and roasted yam. But she carried her late mother's old scarf, the one with little sunflower patterns. It still smelled faintly of shea butter and home. And she carried something else, her mother's lullabies, the village songs that lived in her chest like a sleeping bird waiting to rise. In the back of her school notebook, Chiamaka scribbled lyrics. Quiet ones. Honest ones. Songs that spoke of missing her mother, of silence, of feeling invisible in a loud world. One afternoon during music class, her teacher asked if anyone had written something of their own. Chiamaka raised her hand slowly, then shakily walked to the front. She called the song, The Voice I Carry. When she sang, something shifted. The room that was once filled with chatter fell silent. Even the restless ones listened. Some students blinked back tears. One girl covered her mouth, whispering, I feel that. After class, the teacher asked if she could record the song. Chiamaka nodded, nervous but hopeful. The teacher uploaded it online. In 2 days, It went viral. Thousands of people listened. Chiamaka sat in her hostel bed at night, reading the comments with shaky fingers. Her eyes were full of tears. Not because she was famous now, but because finally, she was heard. For the first time in her life, someone outside her little world had listened and understood. 2 years later, she stood on the stage of a major award show. The lights were bright. Cameras flashed. She wore a dress in mango green and earthy brown, colors of her village, Nkwume. A silent tribute to her roots, her story, her late mother. When they called her name as the winner, she walked slowly to the microphone, heart pounding. She looked at the crowd and smiled softly. Then she said, "This is for every girl with a song in her heart who has been told she's not enough. Sing anyway. Someone, somewhere, is waiting to hear you." And then, she sang. Her voice rose like wind, gentle, strong, full of truth. It wasn't just a song. It was home. It was healing. If this story touched your heart, please don't leave without subscribing. Every single subscription, like, and comment encourages me to keep creating more powerful and emotional stories for you. I pour my heart into every word, every scene, every moment, just to bring you stories that make you feel, reflect, and sometimes even heal. Thank you so much for watching this story to the end. Your time means the world to me, and I don't take it for granted.